Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Canessa coming to you from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the 8th day of August in the year 2022. Sure hope you're enjoying your Monday, no matter where it is you are in the country. But if you are enjoying this day, it's certainly not because of the weather outside, I would imagine, because it is just stinking hot. And I'll tell you what, it slowed me down today. It has been so hot all day long. The humidity is so high. But I hope you're coping no matter where you are. And I hope your air conditioning is working. Most importantly, this is one of those days where I can't imagine that people actually live without air conditioning in the Northeast. But as you do every Monday, you welcome me into your home so that I can bring you the week's news ahead. And unfortunately, this week's newspaper starts off with a terrible tragedy that happened in the town of Kearney a week ago tomorrow. And that is the unfortunate death of Brian Grinelli, who was a member of the Kearney Board of Education, who was just 54 years of age. I didn't know much about Brian because I somehow escaped ever meeting him in person while he served on the Board of Education. A lot of that is, I guess, COVID related too, because of the out of touch meetings, the remote meetings that we had for such a long time. But I did learn that Brian was a graduate of St. Peter's Prep, as I am. And then he went on to St. Peter's College and had a wonderful wife and two children. One is a stepdaughter, the other is his own. And it's amazing that the people who spoke about him universally had beautiful things to say about him. What a wonderful father he was. What a great person he was to be around. You know how, like, when you read somebody's obituary, it always said he had a wonderful smile. But in this case, it's like, it's really true. You know, like that from all indications, every time he walked into a room, people were happy immediately. And I've spoken to a few people who knew him well and who have lost other people in their lives who are taking it harder than they did when they lost members of their own family. So that really speaks volumes about who Brian Grinelli was. And at 54, with a young daughter left behind and his wife, it is, and another daughter, it's just heartbreaking that this has happened. And, you know, this community faced this a couple of years ago when Jonathan Giordano died very young, the councilman. And now this situation with Brian Grinelli, it's just god awful. So from all of us at The Observer, we send out our deepest thoughts and prayers to the family of Brian, to his wife, to his daughters, to his family, and to all his friends. And his friends, I would say that's an astronomical number. And his wake is tonight. In fact, it just ended. And the funeral mass is at St. Stephen's tomorrow morning. And from all appearances, is going to be was a very crowded place from what I would imagine. So, Brian Grinelli, 54 years of age, gone way, way too soon. On the bottom of the front page, a story of much less importance, but one that is, in fact, important. They're going to be doing all sorts of work on Route 21, and there's going to be a lot of lane closures over the next couple of years. And it started today, and it's going to continue sporadically, but the NJDOT said they will announce whenever there are lane closures. They're repaving a lot of it and doing some other structural work. And my sense is that it's going to really be a nightmare when it really gets down and dirty, because a lot of times there's traffic when all three lanes are open. So imagine when it's down to two. And of course, it goes from the edge of Belleville and Newark into Passaic County. So it will be all of the towns that we cover and that use Route 21. So just use caution. Check back with us if there's any updates to the story and there are other closures that we find out about. We will certainly let you know, because we don't want you to have to get caught into any sort of bad traffic on Route 21. It's bad enough as it is. For the rest of the paper, I'm just going to kind of glide through it today. Mostly because it's just so darn hot, and I don't want to keep you guys too late tonight. The Borough of East Newark has a new superintendent. She has taken over and is already well underway in her new position. And Ron Lear has profiled her and a few other things that are already underway in the Borough of East Newark. Did you know that Thistle Soccer has extended to Thistle Baseball? That's right. Right now, there's a team for 11-year-olds, and Billy Alvarez, one of the coaches, tells me that they're looking to expand. There's already a demand for teams for 12-year-olds and 10-year-olds and a whole bunch of different age groups. So they're expanding, and it's basically a year-round program where the kids go from soccer to baseball, back to soccer. And unlike many other clubs, Thistle encourages their athletes to actually participate in more than one sport. So if you read that story on page number 3, you'll see how to get in contact with the program. And Billy is doing a clinic with a couple of other coaches later this month, and that will also serve as a tryout for the team. So read all about that, and his contact information is in there. Thank you, Billy Alvarez, for bringing it to our attention. The town of Harrison hired 5 new firefighters, and 4 of which just got out of the academy. 1 was already on the job, but was just sworn in officially last week. And 4 rank and file firefighters were promoted to the rank of captain. So congratulations to all of them. One of the new firefighters is a woman, and I think she will become the 3rd female firefighter in the Harrison Fire Department. So the diversity efforts are working well in Harrison. Kearney Police Department last week, and for a couple more days this week, is putting on its Junior Police Academy. And last week I had a chance to visit when the Hudson County, Sheriff's officers canine unit came, and they brought 3 of their dogs. 1 was on display throughout the whole thing, a beautiful, beautiful hound dog named, a bloodhound, called Hope. And they did a demonstration. The kids were phenomenal. And I got to tell you, folks, these junior police academies are remarkable. They really are. There's almost 50 kids in the Kearney program. And you could hear a pin drop during the presentation. The kids are so well behaved. And I think it's one of the great things about this police academy, and all of the other ones too, in our other readership towns. The kids are taught discipline, they're taught respect, they're taught physical agility. It's not just about the law enforcement side of things, but they learn a lot of skills that are very, very important for kids who are 10, 11, 12, 13 years of age that they might not get anywhere else. So the respectfulness of these kids was just stunning to see how well behaved and how easy it was to coordinate them and corral them when they had to go to another room and things of that nature. So tremendous work from Adriano Marks and Jack Grimm and Vanessa Savillano, the 3 members of the community-oriented policing unit, which, by the way, is back, and maybe we'll see bikes and motorcycles in the future. I don't know. We'll have to talk to George King about that. But they do a phenomenal job, and they have for years. And again, this goes back to the very first academy, which I think was about a dozen or so years ago when Lieutenant Jack Corbett was in charge. So he since passed that on to Adriano, to Jack, and to Vanessa, and with others in between. But we'll have some more on that police academy next week, because they have another week worth of things going on. And we will also have something about the Lyndhurst Police Academy as well for the kids there. Tim Wagner's got a great Kearney Police blotter this week. And folks, it was a play on words. Just so you know, when you read the headline, you will understand it was intentionally done the way it was. It wasn't a mistake. But that's all I'm going to say. Read the headline. You'll see why. The guy's last name was Leon, Leon-Leon. So same name twice. So you'll see what the headline is all about once you read it. The Women's Club of Arlington. Dolores Christie is great. She sends out these great press releases. But the Women's Club sent 2 Kearney High School girls to the Girls Career Institute at Douglas College at Rutgers University. And she tells us a little bit about the 2 girls who were sent there and the things that they do. It's a nice experience for high school rising seniors to learn a little bit about what dormitory life is like, going to classes, eating in a cafeteria every day instead of at the dinner table or at a restaurant. So all different things. And they learn a lot of leadership skills that are really important for girls to know. So I hope you'll take a look at that. And again, we thank Dolores Christie for sending that to us. And we say the same, of course, to the rest of the Women's Club, too, for all the hard work that they do. I'm not going to get too deep into it because I want you to read it, but we have an Athlete of the Year this year. this week, and it is Mackenzie Albert from Nutley High School. She is the Female Athlete of the Year for 2022. Great job. She is a tremendous multiple sport athlete, and I never got to see her play, but I've read about her a lot because we've written, Jim Haig and Jason Bernstein have both written about her extensively, and it doesn't come as much as a surprise that she is the Athlete of the Year. And the head coach of the Nutley High School baseball team has stepped down after coaching the team for 18 years. He's also the basketball coach, too, but he will continue in that capacity. You will also remember this young man, Matos, here, and he was, Jason wrote about it a couple of weeks ago. He was going over to Taiwan to play there. He won multiple games. He received a gold medal for his work, his play. And apparently, this kid is so good that we're going to see him in the major leagues in a couple of years. He's only 12. So, it's kind of bizarre to be saying this, but he really is going to be something else. And I think you're going to see his name called in the early rounds of a draft in the not too distant future. This piece is about the Belleville American Legion, the Sons of the American Legion. They got to meet the national commander recently. They were down in, I think it was, Woodbridge. That's where they met him. So that's pretty cool that they got to meet this guy. We have a couple of, we have an honor roll and a Student of the Month listing, and also a small story about Belleville. They completed intersection upgrades that the County of Essex took care of, and that is always a good thing, and things are just always looking up and going well in Belleville. And just briefly, this photo here in the upper right corner, I don't know if you can really see it, but you should, especially if you're on a TV. Mike Perrone, the president of the Belleville Historical Society, on National Ice Cream Day, always goes to a spot in Belleville, usually the public library, and somewhere in Nutley. And he's got this old good humor bicycle. It is the coolest thing in the world. Mike is a kid at heart, and they give out free good humor ice cream to kids and to anybody who pops by that day. So great job for the Belleville Historical Society, but most importantly to Mike Perrone, who has this great little bike that he's had for years. He's got so many great gadgets on things that he uses for events for the community, and the Belleville Historical Society is certainly one of the most active in our readership area. We have 2 pages of classifieds as we do every week, so if you're looking for a place to live, a job, anything of that nature, I hope you'll check that out tonight. You can see it right now over at www.theobserver.com. The classifieds are already posted. So, too, is the e-edition that I just went over. And it always is before 8 o'clock, too. So if you ever want to follow along, feel free to do so as well. But that's going to do it for this edition of The Observer Live. It's about 13 minutes past the hour. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today. Please stay inside if you can. Stay cool. Keep the air conditioner on, but not too bad. And drink lots of water because we want everybody safe. From the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com, it's Kevin Canessa. And I'm signing off for now, and I hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Good night, everybody.